Hello and welcome to Bloomberg Quint. I have with me Dixit Joshi, Managing Director, Deutsche Bank. Dixit looks specifically at fixed income markets across the world. Thanks very much for joining us here. This seems to be a slightly dull Davos, or am I just saying it because we have no impending crisis at this point in time?
Menka, if you remember last year when we were here, the start of the year was a totally awful year at the time.
China.
We saw the China collapse, and the mood at Davos was definitely a letdown at the time because of what was happening in China. But then look at how the rest of the year has progressed. And we've had buoyant equity markets, we've had a stronger dollar, we've had strong fixed income markets across the globe. So we entered this year and this particular forum in a much more positive and firmer note than we did last year.
Okay, what does that mean for 2017? Is it going to get better from here, or is this just fooling us and setting us up for a year that's going to be tougher?
Well, I think global growth is fairly intact for this year. I think, if we saw around 3% last year, we're likely to see around 3.4% here this year. Clearly, the big upswing will be in the US, where our expectations are over the next 2 years. If everything that's been said can get done, we would see in the region of 3.6 or more percent in GDP growth in another 2 years' time.
Right.
So the macro backdrop definitely is firmer. The downside is really that we have a number of events on the horizon that one needs to be watching as investors. You have a number of elections here in Europe. You have German elections, you have French elections, you have the Catalonia independence vote. So you have a number of events which are of critical significance to the markets. Clearly Brexit weighs on everyone and will continue to create some uncertainty until we see clarity around what that plan and the execution timetable actually looks like.
Okay.
So this year is likely to be characterized by a firmer undertone, but with the likelihood of some shocks along the way, depending on what happens with some of these issues.
Okay, you haven't made a mention of emerging markets in that roundup at all. Is it because they're not at this point in time in focus?
Well, emerging markets also go into this period somewhat stronger than they were a year ago. But with a stronger dollar, higher US rates, higher inflation, with money flows potentially migrating away, I think that's a short-term headwind for emerging markets, but not a long-term one.
Okay, let me go back to the US. We've seen President-elect Trump, soon enough President Trump, talk about a fiscal stimulus, rebuilding America's infrastructure. What do you think is going to be the reaction of the Fed to that? We saw the second rate hike last year. Are they going to continue on that upward path, or are they going to sit back and watch what he does, or are they going to in fact accelerate their rate movement upwards in order to counterbalance what he might be doing with fiscal stimulus?
I think potentially what we've seen in the US is really the beginning of a recognition that reliance on monetary policy on its own is not sufficient, i.e. at the expense of structural reform, at the expense of fiscal reform, and taking restructuring measures around the economy. And I think that's what's most bullish I think for the US for the next couple of years. Clearly with that comes the risk of higher rates, higher inflation. But let's not forget, about a year ago we were wishing for higher inflation and normalization of rates. So we do enter a period where I think rate normalization will be a theme. Specifically on the Fed and your question, I think what we're likely to see is 2 rate hikes this year with the risk of potentially a third. Equally with the ECB in Europe, while we continue to see monetary conditions remain easy, there is the likelihood that as we go into September to December this year, that we start to see a taper from the ECB as well. So the global theme would be some pullback now from easy monetary policy and a move towards more fiscal-oriented reforms.
Okay, what does that mean for where we'll see rates head in the US, and what will happen to the dollar as a result of that? Because every other currency in the world is watching that very closely.
Well, no doubt this is pretty important for global capital flows, and we've begun to see that already happening. So you have rates in the US, 10-year rates have already backed up significantly. You have a stronger dollar. We might have seen a retracement this week, but the general trend is still towards a stronger dollar. And we started to see inflation take up in a number of places, but I think you'll continue to see that next year. Inflation so far in a few areas was really driven by commodity prices, and that normalization is helping inflation get to where it needs to as well.
Okay, do you have any sort of expected prices or target prices for where you think the dollar will end the year? Any sort of guidance on where you think or how much higher it could go?
I think our medium-term view is very much that against the yen, euro, sterling, I think we'll continue to see a stronger dollar. I think just given the backdrop of higher rates, I think that's likely to continue. What path that takes, I think, is driven by a number of these factors during the year that we see. It also depends, as we see, it depends on what US legislation looks like as it begins to get enacted and what final form that takes, because we've heard what's likely to happen. We haven't yet seen that get promulgated.
That's fair. For emerging market economies, for instance, let me talk about India, right? A cheaper rupee would be sort of beneficial to some of our export industries, but we're also an oil importing country, and we've seen some recovery in oil prices. Where do you see the rupee headed? Do you have a sense of where you think it might end the year, and at what level should we start worrying about the rupee and the impact then on macros?
I think India has been largely insulated. If you look at the last couple of years and you look at the currency volatility that we've had globally, by and large, the rupee's really been range bound for some time, and I think that's been a good place to be for India. That said, now when we go ahead, there's no doubt that the stronger dollar, higher US rates will impact on the rupee as well. In the short run, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. What the markets, though, are watching very closely when looking at where the rupee should be is what economic conditions on the ground are like. And I think if it's accompanied with good growth, I think that actually constrains the rupee in a positive way. If we see tepid growth, then of course I think the markets will take a dimmer view of the rupee.
You think we're going to breach 70 this year?
We're not that far right now,
No, we're
and
not.
I'm not sure there's a necessarily a mental barrier at 70 per se, but it all depends what growth does. 70 rupee with great growth onshore is a good environment to be in.
Okay, fair enough. We're expecting, at least, yesterday I was talking to Uday Kotak of Kotak Mahindra Bank. He said he's expecting a couple of interest rate cuts this year. He said there is some more scope for India's interest rates to go lower. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I would say that if you look at the measures that the government has taken over the last 6 months, no doubt they will be deflationary in the short run. There might be a negative credit impulse. Again, we don't view that as a medium-term or a long-term phenomenon. We think that's in the short term. And given that India's entered this period with rates that were substantially higher than elsewhere, with inflation largely in check, I think there's no doubt there's room for rate cuts in India. And that will be a welcome news.
Okay. All right. We had a significant development in India in the demonetization announcement. The jury's still out on what impact that's going to have on economic growth. People have estimated between 1 to some analysts have said 3% cuts on GDP growth. What's your own estimation of how much it will hurt the economy, short term, medium term, long term?
The adjustment there has already begun, and I think the true test will be in a couple months' time when we look back and see to what extent the economy is adjusted. Just a quick poll check with many of the corporate leaders in India that I've done to understand how significant the impact would be. The view very much was that this was a short-term pain that India is currently experiencing, and we're seeing that in a number of areas, no doubt, and it has been tough. But that in the medium run, the economy seems to, likely to correct quite quickly, and money flows again resuming normal. So it doesn't feel like this is going to be a headwind for the Indian market in, let's say, the next 2 years.
Okay, so all said and done, now that you've set the context for what to expect in 2017, 3 things that you're watching out for this year.
Political risk. So I think just again, especially in Europe around the elections, many pundits have been wrong in the last couple of years around the US, around Brexit. And so I don't think you can go into this period being complacent in any way. You must be cognizant around the risk, especially when you have such big, significant market moving events coming up. So I think I would be watching that. I think I would be watching the path of the dollar and just how fast that happens. Again, a very fast rally wouldn't be great, wouldn't let people adjust portfolios, etc. But I would say that's one thing to watch. And clearly just looking at the United States, which has a very, very positive backdrop right now, is to see exactly what measures get taken over the next 6 months and what impact that's going to have. It's our view that that impact will come through in late 2017, late 2018, and will be positive for global growth as well if we get done what we're expecting in the US.
Yeah, I suspect, just to follow up to that, you've already alluded to what the, sort of the collateral impact will be of fund flows reversing a little bit from emerging economies going back to the US. Have we missed any other impact of this? Like, for instance, I know some people have spoken of what happens to emerging market companies that have dollar debt, and how hard will they be hit. Now, I don't know how closely you look at that, but anything else that you want to flag off as key risks of this reversal in fund flow that's taking place?
I would say corporate indebtedness is clearly going to be impacted by a stronger dollar, especially out of emerging markets. But this is no secret. This has been well flagged for some time. Corporates have time to adjust their portfolios. So we're not expecting any surprises. Will it be a tough environment in the short term? Yes. But I'm not sure that we'll be expecting outlier events out of that anytime soon.
Dixit, thank you so much. Always a pleasure speaking with you here in Davos. Great perspective for what the year will bring about for us. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.